that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
People are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
So who's the real president of this country? Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President?
Come on, Charlamagne.
It's
Joe Biden.
I can't tell sometimes.
No.
Systemically and structurally, do you think America is racist? Not the people, not everybody in America.
I don't think America's racist. I think we have racism in America.
The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne, stop that, y'all. Stop that. The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God, has never pulled punches anytime. And politically or culturally, conversations are happening on the show that he does. And now he wants everyone to take a page out of his new book, Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks. Please welcome Charlamagne the God.
Feel out there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking it back right after the show. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I want this. I want this sweater.
That's cute. I like
this sweater's fly.
I took that back too.
You did?
Yeah, the tag was still in that one as well.
Uh-oh.
There's no need to wear that after a photo shoot. Where would I wear that?
My house.
Oh, okay.
You know, just sitting around, looking good. Listen, congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Explain to people why one of the biggest radio hosts on the planet thinks that small talk sucks.
Because it's a waste of time. You know, I think that, you get into conversations with people and they make a whole bunch of chit-chat, but 9 times out of 10 what it is they actually want to talk about. Mm-hmm. So let's just actually get to the discussion. And I feel like, we're making too many macros nowadays, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like these little small issues that really don't matter in the bigger scheme of things. We make them the biggest talking points in the world, so when the real macros come across our desk, we don't even know how to talk about them at all.
Absolutely. Now, you write that you're convinced we're living in a time with more stupid people than ever. And
I might be one of them, but I still feel that way.
But what has convinced you of that other than Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Just because I feel like, nobody cares about, facts anymore. Nobody cares about, actual data. Everything is about opinions and narratives and your feelings. And, you have really smart people, actually intelligent people that have doctor in their name and PhD. And even they're all about opinions and, narratives and their feelings as opposed to what the actual, facts are.
What the data shows. Well, since this book is all about having real conversations, let's get to it. Mm-hmm. Let's get real. Now, you have a massive platform reaching millions of listeners, and you and I have talked about this before. You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020, but this time around, you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is issues, not individuals. Why
not endorse?
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, try to lead an attempted coup of this country, and I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear, right? And I've seen y'all do this on The View before. I saw y'all do this to Killer Mike when he was on The View, and Killer Mike literally sat here and said, hey, I supported Keisha Lance Bottoms. I supported Ralph Warnock. I supported John Ossoff, right, in Georgia. And he said, you should support the people that I've supported. You should support the person who the people I've supported are supporting.
Okay.
That's y'all opportunity to say, well, clearly he's talking about President Biden. Why do y'all need us to say this if we don't feel comfortable saying it?
No, it's not that we need you to say it, but I think other folks need to hear, because, one of the things I'm sorry, I just jumped you, I'm sorry, but one of the things that we've been talking about is the fact that getting facts out through the media seems to be very difficult.
I feel like I just spewed some facts.
Yeah.
Yes,
but an
we need you to do it on your
matter.
show.
Well, the reality is I think both candidates are trash. So but I am going to vote in November, and I'm going to vote my best interest, and I'm going to vote who I think, can preserve democracy. So if I think both candidates are trash and I don't feel like, endorsing one, would you rather me endorse an individual or endorse the fact that, hey, we need to go out here and protect democracy?
And by the way, I think it's incredibly powerful to use your platform just to draw the contrast. I actually tend to agree that I don't think an endorsement is somehow more powerful than reminding folks the other person tried to overturn our democracy. That breaks through. But I want to ask you, because you're kind of one of these, we call them double haters. I don't like to use the phrase, but
double haters?
Double haters, like not thrilled with Biden or Trump. And
I never heard of that. Like the chicken fried.
I called it.
I thought that was just called being an American nowadays. When you look at the polls, people don't seem to be too pleased with either one of them.
And I'm right there with you. So you've called this a race between crooks, cowards, and the couch.
That's
and
right.
You say Democrats are losing the messaging game.
But let's be clear about who I say are the crooks. I say Republicans are the crooks. I say Democrats are the cowards. And I say the couch is voter apathy. And I feel like, right now it looks like, voter apathy may win. But whose fault is that? Is that our fault, or is it the candidates?
Well, and I'm curious at this juncture, 6 months out, who do you think wins?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, it's a toss-up at this point. I really don't know. I think the person who goes out there and probably energizes their base the best at this point. And, when you look at somebody like President Biden, it feels like his base is pretty pissed off at him for a number of reasons.
Help him out.
Well, no, look, I actually...
Help him out by doing what?
Well, I want to ask you something, because when you talk about crooks, we know that. We've talked about the Republicans ad nauseum here. But when you say the Democrats are cowards, how could Democrats show more courage right now in a way that speaks to you?
By doing what, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett did to Marjorie Taylor Greene the other day, I think the former, First Lady called a play one time, and she said, when they go low, we go high. I think you got to rip that play up.
Yeah.
When they go low, you got to take it to the floor.
I don't even think she went low on that, because I think her pointing out the hypocrisy of them not attending to the rule was going high and using an example.
And that's why
I think it was brilliant.
You're right, and that's why everything looks so normal. All of this stuff has been normalized, and it shouldn't be normalized at all. There's nothing normal about American politics. No. But the way that, Democrats react to it sometimes, they make it seem like it's normal. We got to stop acting like this stuff is normal, and you got to start calling BS where it's BS.
Well, so let me ask you this. If you think that's what needs to happen, because for me, I think back to the time when we couldn't vote. So the idea of voting for, this one or this one it wasn't about our best interest. It was about how do we get to point B.
That's right.
My point is, listen, I don't know if it's because he's old or people are mad. I don't know why Democrats are mad at him. But I know I'm better off with him than I am with the other one.
Right.
That's what I know. So, and we say it because we always have to remind people of what we went through in order to do this, in order to have this right to vote. And so if you say you're going to vote, then I'm not going to ask any more questions.
Not only am I saying I'm going to vote, I'm telling you who the threat to democracy is.
Well, we do. Listen, we do this every day. We know who the threat to democracy is.
And his name is Donald Trump. If you want me to spell that one out. Come on.
And one would think, since there's only two,
I mean, there's third-party candidates, but, there's only...
beat your behind.
I'm just saying, you got to be fair about it. There is. Yeah.
We have more with Charlamagne the God when we come back. We are back with Charlamagne the God. Sonny has the first question.
I do. The book is great, by the way.
Thank you very much.
In the book, you also say this. You say we need to have some difficult conversations about hip-hop and how it can be both a positive cultural force and self-destructive. Now, can you explain what you mean by that, and what do you, well, let's start there.
Well, I just think about the influence of hip-hop and, the influence that hip-hop has on culture, the way that we, talk, the way that we walk, the way that we dress, and, just growing up, all the influence that hip-hop had on me. And, I just think that, you have to use that tool of hip-hop, that resource of hip-hop to really, empower people. Like when I look at guys like, Kendrick Lamar with his last album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, or Jay-Z, the 444 album, I think in the future we're going to look at those albums and say those are two of the most important hip-hop albums of all time because of the topics that they're discussing on there. Like they're talking about, going to therapy. They're talking about, the infidelity that they did and how they're trying to be better men towards their women, and just, the whole journey of healing. Like that's what we should be talking about. Like if you look at the last 50 years of hip-hop, it was almost like we were little boys, and now we're growing into manhood. And in order to continue to have a career, like you do have to grow up.
You do.
And I'm not sure if you want to answer this, but what are your thoughts on everything going on with Diddy right now?
I think when it comes to that situation, man, I think we shouldn't focus on the individual. We should focus on the issue. Because I think what happens a lot of times is, because of the celebrity, we get lost in talking about the celebrity and not talking about the actual issue. The issue is domestic violence. The issue is exactly what I just said about, men not going to do the proper work on themselves, and they're dealing with a lot of pain and a lot of hurt and unhealed trauma, and they're projecting that pain and that hurt on the other people. The issue is patriarchy, right? Because as long as you have a system where men feel superior to women and they're dealing with that pain and they're dealing with that hurt, they're going to project that. We're going to continue to project that onto our women. So I think those are the issues that we should be discussing as opposed to talking about the individual. And we tend to do that a lot as a society. We get lost in the celebrity of things as opposed to, okay, what are we here for?
Because it's clickbait. It's clickbait.
Like, Diddy brings the engagement, but right now, as I'm talking, there's a woman out there getting beat up by a man, right? And she's not going to get no news coverage. Nobody's going to talk about her.
We should say the name of Cassie, the survivor of the domestic violence.
Yes.
Talk more about her.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the issue, Priya. Let's talk about the actual issue and not the individual.
When it comes to us, it doesn't seem to be the thing we think, amplified is the right word.
Charlamagne, you talk about in the book how you own up to the fact that the beginning of your career was all being a shock jock. Like you were getting kind of into the fame of it all. How did you get to that point and then come all the way to this part? Because your book makes so much sense. A lot of your interviews, it's so powerful, but it's not the same person you were.
Well, I shouldn't be. I'm 45 years old. I was born in 1978. I'll be 46 next month. Muhammad Ali said the person who's doing at 50 the same thing they was doing at 20 wasted 30 years of their life. I haven't wasted a moment. If we're not growing and evolving, what are we doing?
Well, because you've also been very open about your mental health journey, seeking out therapy, battling daily anxiety, panic attacks. So one thing I also learned is that you're a tree hugger. That is one step I have not taken.
A tree hugger?
Yeah, I got a chapter in the book called Tree Hug the Block. And, I talk about how...
there's power in it. There's
absolutely. But you don't know that. Like, you hear people say that, and you're like, that's crazy. Why would I go out there and hug trees? Try it. It's summertime. It's springtime. Take your shoes off. Take your socks off. Go do some grounding. Walk around in the grass.
Yeah, go
hug a tree. Lean up against the tree. Breathe some fresh air. See what happens.
But we also have to let you know there are things that live in these trees that we're hugging.
Check for bears.
Especially in New York.
And no, even New Jersey too. You go out there and hug a tree and
don't settle for just any tree.
That's right. Be discerning about the tree that you're hugging. But it's always a pleasure to have you here because it's always a good conversation.
I love having you, and that's what the book is about. The book is about conversation. That's why I end every chapter by saying, "Let's discuss." We're not having enough conversation. There's too much confrontation now. People like confrontation over conversation nowadays.
And even maybe if we put our phones down for a couple of hours a day, maybe we can have better conversations.
Oh my God.
But so our thanks to Charlamagne the God. His book, Get Honest or Die Lying, is available now. I'm sorry, did I hear you say you wanted a book? Did you say